Hello, this is a swift guide into the various subjects to be found on my YouTube channel, John's Flicks. You will see short extracts and speeded presentations condensed into multi-screen sections. Each section is headed according to the subject content, and the YouTube icons for the movies shown are superimposed for easy selection. If the subject appeals, click on its icon in the YouTube index. Memories. These rescued old movies are from over 50 years ago. The movie Den of Treasures contains how we disposed of a classic but worn-out car. Beauty and the Beast shows me making a plaster cast of my sister's face. Nice to see that she survived. Here's a glimpse of an ongoing project. It's my Rosetta mechanism, all to do with lost and ancient knowledge, acoustic levitation. Real treasure! Yes, over 30 years ago now, I hid over 40 real diamonds. 19 of them have yet to be discovered. After all that time, even I can't find them. And my grandfather knew about the money beach where precious coins are washed ashore. See my movie Spirit of the Stones and Joseph's Magic Albatross. Jolly fun! This is me spoofing it up. A homemade wingsuit with the help of blue screen chroma key, and way back in my early life, a frantic chase performed with my old chums. You'll see that some of my movies contain overlapping subjects, as with Den of Treasures. The movie clips shown here are from DIY Wingsuit, The Cremation of Sam McGee, and that old chase is another clip from Den of Treasures. Model aircraft. I finally got around to refurbishing a model I made many years ago. There's a clip of it, torn and dusty, which is part of my Den of Treasures movie. I recovered and repainted it. My movie, An Old Killcraft Eaglet and a New One, shows the day we flew it along with some other models. One of the airplanes proved to be quite lethal in my hands, so inexperienced at radio control. Oh, those poor horses. My paintings, Art and Alchemy. This is presented as a trip on a steam train in which I reminisce about some of my projects. It contains many of my paintings, crafts and creations, an ongoing story of life. You may spot someone you recognize. The following two sections are comprised of short spoken extracts from the actual movies. Whose woods these are? I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not know I'm standing here to see his woods fill up with snow. My little horse. The trail was bad, and I went half mad, but I swore I wouldn't give in, and sometimes I'd sing to that horrible thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Then I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. She was jammed in the ice, and I saw in a trice she was called the Alice May. I think my soul is a tame old duck, dabbling around in barnyard muck, fat and lazy with useless wings. But sometimes when the north wind sings and the wild ones hurtle overhead, it remembers something lost and dead. Something stirs and it doesn't know why. It makes a feeble attempt to fly. It's fairly content with the state it's in, but it's not the duck it could have been. One of the few in cloud and blue arena, his brother blood in battle blending, until that day beneath the shrieking air, defending ground crews rubbed their gritted eyes against the flash and blinding glare. They took a risk. There, homing in with crippled wing, through smoke and dust the battered boys had seen a god descending. 'Twas belief-esque. Through bomb and blast they made their way.
Aztecs had never seen a horse. Then Spaniards came riding, seeming as four-legged men. So oft the truth is hiding. Well spiked, the maidenhead was torn. Her fever nearly peaked. From glaring sun the arrow came. Unseen, unsung, it streaked. Delirious on sodden sheets, on putrid bed.
Perceived as gods from space they came, with knowing eyes that saw all needs that man could ever wish, his each and every flaw. Great secrets shared to chosen ones were drawn as tears that fell, like bees upon a holy cheek, prime insight then to tell.
As bee the pollen brushed, Osiris' seed was flushed, syringed by phallus gold, bears Horus, god of old. From Isis' virgin womb to ancient order comb, and so this grit will bind within your... My books. Spirit of the Stones. This book contains clues to the places I hid those diamonds. There are many other treasures to be found within its pages. Joseph's Magic Albatross. This story is based upon fact. I combined my great-grandfather with my grandfather to create a tale of idyllic childhood and treasure. The Money Beach does exist, and the albatross was saved by old Joe, who kept it as a pet. The Jericho Key is published as an e-book for iPad, Kindle and Nook tablets, also for smartphones. It is a forgotten science fantasy about two lads who take possession of a magical flying cipher stone. In this story, the ancient lost knowledge of acoustic levitation, by which great stones were shaped and placed to build such mysterious edifices as the pyramids and temples, has been rediscovered. But evil factions seek to embrace and own its powers. The story rattles on with a sprinkling of humour and a moment of severe shock. And, of course, there is the hidden cipher. The Exploded Illustrator and Echoes of the Home Front is another e-book. It is really two interlaced books. My own life experience is exploded into its facets of humour, drama and survival. Each facet is focused for examination. Then there is my collection of World War II stories, together with paintings depicting each incident, some of which I recall, for I was born in 1939, and my older sisters and brother have contributed their own anecdotes.
you will see how our marvellous modern technology allows very swift access to selected jonzflicks movies, and how easy it is to return to the exact page in the book. One section of the book illustrates stage by stage a method of producing an aviation action painting using models and digital photography for visualization. You'll see me flipping the pages on my iPad to get a quick preview of those pages and glimpse the final canvas. Now this part really overlaps on the next section of this guide, which demonstrates my methods. Demonstration. In the course of learning to use Final Cut Express movie editing, I returned to an old hobby of mine, making model aeroplanes. I chose a West Wings Hawker Hurricane model as my subject and set up my camera in my studio above my workstation. I was also experimenting with an improvised electric motor as a power source. This aspect remains as an ongoing exercise for other models. The model Hurricane build is presented in 4 main parts, with its own short trailer. The other demo movie shown here is a much-speeded version of how I produced a watercolour painting, which is the background for my movie Something Stirs. This is my version of the much-loved Tame Ducks poem by an unknown author. You may have noticed an extract from this poem earlier in this guide. Echoes of the Homefront movies. 3 of the Homefront stories from my ebook are presented as short jonzflicks movies. Stuka Over Steep Hill tells the story of the first German aircraft to crash on the Isle of Wight in World War II. The American Friend is about the ultimate sacrifice made by the famous bobsleigh champion, Billy Fisk, and The Souvenir Hunters of Buckham Down reveals what happened to an unguarded, crashed Messerschmitt and its pilot at the end of the Battle of Britain. Feldwebel Hellriegel was taken home to Mum and ate Dad's dinner, and local lads liberated the aircraft in pieces. My Island Home. I am fortunate to live in a place where much happens throughout the summer months. This section has speeded clips from 4 of my short movies. The one showing the red squirrels was shot as it happened in real time. Only a couple of shaky camera shots have been removed. You will see how the regular wildlife in the garden of our old home interacted. The sailing boats are of the rare J class and were shot whilst racing off Fort Victoria a couple of years ago. We were fortunate to set up at a point where the vessels tacked. The sunlight and misty shadows playing on the great sails as they turned was a really splendid sight. Just down the road from our new home, we see the great liners as they turn in the Solent just off Cowes. And that town is the subject of the other movie. Apart from the yacht racing during the famous Cowes Week Festival, there is a wide variety of street entertainment. I walk the viewer through the busy town. Well, that's it for now. If you see anything that grabs your interest, please note the movie icon, which you can click in my jonzflicks channel index. Please take a look at my Facebook page, which has separate albums of my various activities.